Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Dennis Uhuru, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about 10 things I have learned living in Nairobi over the past 5 years. Now, I came to Nairobi in May of 2019 when I was 25 years old. I just turned 30 a few months ago, and so I have spent 5 years in Nairobi. Without further ado, let's get into the first lesson living in Nairobi has taught me. Now, lesson number 1, and this lesson is for those people that haven't made it to Nairobi yet and would like to come to Nairobi. Now, if you don't come from a well-to-do family, or if you do not have a job interview or a job opportunity that is bringing you to the city, you will need to be introduced to the city. Introduced in the sense that you will need somebody to host you for the first couple of months or even years that you will be living in Nairobi before you find your feet and move out into your own space. This is true for many people that are living in Nairobi right now that don't come from well-to-do families. We often say that no one was born in Nairobi. A few people were, but most of us living in Nairobi were born many kilometers away from Nairobi. So when I came to Nairobi, an aunt of mine agreed to host me. The initial plan was that she would host me for 6 months. At the time I was living in Eldoret and I was selling insurance for a company called ICA Lion. So she told me, come to Nairobi, sell insurance, because ICA Lion has a branch in Nairobi. It's a national insurance company. And so she said, come to Nairobi, sell your insurance for 6 months, find your feet, then you can move out. I ended up staying with her for 2.5 years. So for the 5 years of being in Nairobi, the first 2.5 years I was hosted by somebody, by an aunt of mine, and I'm so grateful for that. See, the thing is, there are very few things that are as difficult as hosting somebody in your house. It is difficult for both the hosts and the hostee. Say, for example, if I decide to host somebody in this house, I've set up this house so that I can live in it and do my things the way I want to do. If I bring somebody in, I have to adjust my meals, my bedtime. If I want to watch the TV, you have to be really patient and you have to be really willing to adjust a lot of things. And it's difficult for the hostee because they are coming to live in a person's house, and so they have to abide by a certain set of rules. Yeah, so that's the first lesson of living in Nairobi. If you have not made it to Nairobi, you'd like to come, find somebody, a relative, a friend, or somebody that would agree to host you, and make sure that that person is patient, because things don't often work the way you plan. So the initial plan could be that they agree to host you for a month and you come to Nairobi for a month and things don't work out. So make sure that the person that is going to host you is somebody that can't chase you away from their house as you start to maneuver. Don't expect to live the Instagram life just yet, especially in your first couple of years in Nairobi. I was looking at a tweet by Money Academy Kenya, and in that tweet, they broke down the banks that have accounts that hold over 500,000 Kenyan shillings, and the total number of accounts in Kenya with deposits over 500,000 Kenyan shillings are just 1 million, a little over 1 million accounts. In contrast to that, there are over 55 million people living in Kenya. So if you work that out, it comes to about 2% of the population. What does that mean? If you're expecting to live the Instagram lifestyle, go out on vacations, 5-star hotels, every weekend, go out with friends and things like that, well, it's probably not going to work out. Yeah, you'll have to wait. The people that have the ability to go out on weekends, go on vacations, go on road trips, are people that have built capacity in Nairobi for a number of years. And I'm talking about the people that have done it right. Of course, there are people that have stolen money, there are people that do money laundering and things like that. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people that have done it right. Those people have built capacity for a number of years, building businesses, building connections and things like that. So in your first 5 to 10 years in Nairobi, you're going to have a very poor social life, and that's just to be expected. The third lesson is tied to the second in that it's also money related. So the third lesson is, if you're a man living in Nairobi, in your formative years, the first couple of years in Nairobi, say the year 1 to 5 or even up to 10, and you've not gotten your money right, you don't have your money right, then you will be alone. You see, the way Nairobi is set up is that during the week, people are busy looking for money. So people go to work from morning till evening. During the weekend, people spend time typically with their families. The few fortunate people that have disposable income then can go out to maybe have a meal or two, socialize, events and things like that. Also, Nairobi is set up such that the only socializing avenues that most people have is when they go out drinking or partying over the weekend. What that means is, if you do not have disposable income, if you do not have money enough to go out, you will be alone. And you will be alone in the sense that you will have very few friends, very few people calling you. And even if you have friends and they are like you, to mean that they are also trying to get their money right, you will not spend a lot of time together because each and every person is trying to put their life in order. That leaves very little time for socialization. So you will be alone. Another aspect of being alone is the aspect of relationship, especially for men. If you're a man, it will be very difficult for you to get a girlfriend if you haven't gotten your money right. Because you see, the thing is, girls don't care about your pocket. Nobody cares about your pocket in Nairobi. The only person that cares about your pockets is you. And so if you are going to date, I mean, girls expect you to have your money figured out. Yeah, so they expect you to be able to take them out for dates. They expect you to be able to, I mean, give them, they call it princess treatment. And if you're not able to do that, they'll call you, if you're not able to do that, they'll call you mean, they'll call you broke, they'll call you all these names. And the funny thing is, the guys that say these things, the guys that will call you mean and broke, are also broke the way you are. In fact, most of them are more broke than you. But the fact of the matter is, for a young man, if you're trying to get your money right and you're trying to put your life in order, you will not be able to give these girls the princess treatment. Because think about it. I'll use myself as an example. When I moved out from my aunt's house, I went to live in Ongata Rongai. My rent was about 5,500 Kenyan shillings. To take a girl out in Nairobi, you need about 2,000 Kenyan shillings just to be safe. So 2,000 Kenyan shillings should cover transport for both you and the lady, and maybe lunch or dinner in a decent restaurant. And while you're having dinner, you won't be worried about the bill being more than you brought, more than you budgeted with. And this is just a decent restaurant. I'm not talking about high-end restaurants. And that's just one outing. For a person like me whose rent was 5,500 Kenyan shillings in Ongata Rongai, that's half my rent. But girls will not understand that. So, what that boils down to is many lonely nights, many quiet lonely nights. I was talking to a friend of mine and I was telling them, you see, most people think that most people say that it's very difficult to find true love in Nairobi. That's not the case. The case is men that have money enough to take girls out in Nairobi are few and far between. In the village, you see, it's very easy to create a relationship because all a relationship requires is time spent together to bond and to learn one another. In the village, that's very simple. You can meet going to the market, you can go on evening strolls without spending a single cent. But in Nairobi, that's not possible. So, if you are a man in your formative years in Nairobi, just be prepared to be alone for a number of years until you have your money right enough to be able to go out, socialize, make friends, take girls out on dates. That's lesson number 3. Let's move on to lesson number 4. It's very challenging to succeed. On the other hand, it is very easy to fail. I was talking to a friend of mine and we were discussing the bottomless pit of hell. And what that means is that never think that your bad situation is rock bottom, that there's nothing worse that can happen to you. Just one simple stupid choice can make you go into another pit. Hell has no bottom. That is what we were talking about with my friend. Hell has no bottom. There's always something worse that can happen if you make a stupid decision. There are people that because they were so broke, maybe they were dealing with an addiction like say drugs or something like that, decided to maybe hook up with the wrong group of friends. Do what? Go stealing. I saw a video a few months ago about this guy that had a friend that he knew was doing illegal stuff, and he just hung out with that friend of his. And one time his friend told him to accompany him to a meeting that he had, and so this friend went with him. And when they reached that meeting, it was actually a meeting between gang members, and they had guns on the table and drugs and all these things. And that is how this broke guy, was inducted into a criminal gang. And they set out and started doing highway robberies, and several of his friends were shot dead by the police, and he's the only one that survived. So in Nairobi, it's very easy to be desperate. That's the word. You will be desperate many times, and mostly you will be desperate for money. And that right there can land you in many levels of trouble. And to add to that, pressure comes from all sides. Pressure will be coming from your family for you to get your money right. Pressure will be coming from friends. Pressure will be coming from women if you're a man. Pressure will be coming from all avenues for you to get your money right. And so most men just say, I'll do whatever I have to do to get money. But that's the wrong way to go about it, because you don't want to do whatever you have to do. You want to do what is right to get money. Because if you do whatever you have to do, well, you'll make money, but it won't be worth it. If you kill somebody to make money, well, just say goodbye to restful nights. You'll never have a restful night's sleep ever again in your life. It breaks apart your soul. If you steal somebody's property to make money, just know that you are a step away from death or prison or jail. And so, to succeed in Nairobi is challenging. To fail is very easy. So be very careful. If you can, put some money aside, because gas huisha. And for most people, myself included, it's very difficult to save money, because you see, saving money requires that you've taken care of your bills, food and rent, and you have a little left over to save. And for most people, that's not very easy. That's not very applicable. But you see, the thing in Nairobi is, gas cylinder that most people use to cook meals in Nairobi runs out mainly at night when you're making something like ugali or rice. And when you're dead broke, when you're as broker than the brokest church mouse, that's when your gas cylinder runs out. And then you are in for weeks of suffering. If you're using a gas cylinder to cook in your house, if you find some 500 shillings that you don't have to use immediately, try to put that aside. Always try to have the amount of money you need to fill your gas saved in another account. So for example, I use a 12 kg cylinder gas. I need to have 3,000 Kenyan shillings saved at all times to refill that gas. For most of my life, and even up to now, I mean, I'm 30 years old, but I've never been in a position to save money. I mean, so it's something I'm trying to teach myself. And somebody told me that saving is a culture that you have to cultivate, and you'll never be in a position to have too much money that now saving is easy for you. Even millionaires struggle with saving. So I think this is a lesson that we have to teach ourselves, and save whatever little we get. An emergency fund is very important to have, to fill your gas, to do many other things. You may fall sick. I remember one time I went to Mombasa, and this is a few months ago. I went to Mombasa for the first time in my life for two days on a weekend getaway. I had saved some money, about 10,000 Kenya shillings. And that is all the money I had. So I went to Mombasa and came back. And when I came back, I think my body was really affected by that change of climate. And I got very sick, very sick. I didn't even have a shilling to take myself to hospital. And I think that really woke something up in me about the culture of saving. And I intend to start to do that. If you are able to have at least two streams of income, at least two, so that you don't live in a position where your life can come abruptly to a sudden financial end. See, the thing is, this applies mostly to men, but I'm sure it also applies to ladies. If you take a man's ability to make income away from him, that's akin to killing the man. So try as much as possible not to depend on one source of income. And this is something that I'm also trying to work on. I'm trying to build up several streams of income, and it takes time to do. It really takes time to do that. But it's something that you have to start trying to put in place. In as much as it will take you a lot of time to do, start working on those separate income streams, because one day they'll come in handy for you. And the time I learned this is when I was fired from my previous job. The last formal position I held, I was working as a customer service representative in Tuskys for I think 2 years, and they fired me. They gave me 1 month's notice and fired me, saying in the letter, I still remember the first sentence in that letter, and it said, "We wish you the best in your future endeavors." And I was just wondering, which future endeavors? I mean, I've been here working 9-hour shifts every day, 6 days a week, with 1 off day, and you're wishing me well in my future endeavors. Which future endeavors? I mean, I've not built anything. There's nothing for me to do. If you fire me, I'm going hungry. But of course, your employers care nothing about you. That is something you have to learn. Your employers care nothing about you. The only person that cares about you is you. And they'll fire you and go and have the most stressful night of their lives. I mean, they won't even think twice about it. They'll fire you and replace you immediately. In fact, if they did not need you to do that job that you're doing, they will not have you in their company. Don't think that your boss is your friend. They're not your friend. They just need some service done. And if that is the case, it means you have to have a plan B. What happens if you separate from your current employer, especially at a time when you are not ready for that separation financially? So try as much as possible to develop other streams of income. It will help you in future. Yeah, so there are a number of lessons that living in Nairobi has taught me. I think these are the most important that I just wanted to talk about, share them with the average guy out there struggling to put their lives in order, struggling to get their money right. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, sister. We are together in this. We're trying to do the best that we can with the cards that we've been dealt, and each and every day we try to move forward, and we'll get there. I believe we will. That is one of the things that I often hold very close to my heart. My belief that everything I'm working towards will come to fruition. So thank you for watching this video. This has been a talking head video. I don't know how it will perform. Talking head videos often don't perform very well on YouTube. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video, talk to you guys, because it's been a while. Thank you for watching. If this is your first time on the channel, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel, leave your thoughts in the comment section, and then I'll see you in the next video.